Kenyan youths are representing Ibrahim Traore so well here in Kenya. And I think Ibrahim Traure's spirit has entered Kenyans youths because uh, when we are on Ibrahim Traore, when we talk about Ibrahim Traore is a kind of a person and a kind of a leader who does not entertain anything. He doesn't entertain nonsense. He does not entertain things that are killing his people or rather that are destroying his country. He is a man who has the interests of people, as I say always. And I think Kenyan youths, they have decided, they have started nurturing, and the Traore spirit has entered them. In 2024, Kenyan government started misbehaving under the leadership of President William Ruto, and things were not working well. And even today, even as I'm speaking right now, things are still not working well in Kenya because Kenya has been a country that the year 2022 they decided to go to the ballot and vote into government leaders that they wanted to lead them. How did they voted into the government these leaders? They voted into the government these leaders according to how they were speaking in the campaigns. So they used to look at their manifestos and according to how they spoke, according to how they presented themselves during campaigns. And then Kenyans would sit down and say, now, I think this is the best person we can choose, or rather, this is the best person we can go for. Okay. And so Ruto happened to be the president elect of the Republic of Kenya. And before Ruto was announced, chaos were in Kenya because the opposition was saying that they won the election. And Ruto was the deputy president, and he said he won the elections. And the IEBC chairman, the one and only Mr. Chebukati, had to go on and announce President William Ruto as the president-elect of the Republic of Kenya. The opposition leader being the opposition party, which was Azimio la Umoja, that the flag bearer was Raila Amolo Odinga, together with Martha Karua, who was the deputy president. They filed a case and they went to court. They presented their case to court to try and stop the okay, to try and maybe oppose the results that had been announced. And the court proceeded with the case, and at the end of the day, they had to declare Mr. Ruto the president of the Republic of Kenya. The day Mr. Ruto was presented to Kenyans as the president, the fifth president of the Republic of Kenya, I can say without fear of contradiction that this is where the problem of Kenyans began from. And this is where the fall of Kenya began from. This is where uh, the downfall of Kenya began from. The day President William Ruto was announced by the court that he is the fifth president of the Republic of Kenya and he can go on and be sworn in as the fifth president of the Republic of Kenya. And they went on, they swore in President William Ruto as the fifth president of the Republic of Kenya. During campaigns, President William Ruto said that he is going to check and to support the Mamambogas. He is going to support Boda Boda. He is going to help the needy. He is going to lower taxation. He is going to make sure that extrajudicial killings are no more in the country of Kenya. He is going to make sure that the security of Kenya is at par, and therefore people will not be dying anyhow. He is going to make sure that abductions will not be there because even during Uhuru Kenyatta's government, there were abductions, but not as much as we are experiencing right now. William Ruto said that he is going to actually end the IMF loans that Kenya is having right now. The World Bank and all those loans. He is going to cut them slowly by slowly until they come to the end. And he said in 3 months' time, all these things will be on control. But speaking is another thing, and doing is also another thing. And Kenyans really believed in President William Ruto. And to some point, I think there are Kenyans who sit down today and say, we would better have not gone to vote, or we would rather have voted Raila Odinga than President William Ruto, because whatever they are going through in the hands of President William Ruto is something that is very, very, very frustrating, very irritating, and very much unexplainable, because nobody saw it coming. But I can say the downfall of Kenya and the problems of Kenya began the very day President William Ruto was declared the fifth president of the Republic of Kenya, together with his deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua, who was later impeached by the same President William Ruto, and he is now out of the government. Kenyans gave President Ruto time to work, and they waited until the 3 months that President William Ruto said that in 3 months, abductions will be no more. In 3 months, loans will have been paid. In 3 months' time, taxes will have been reduced. In 3 months' time, extrajudicial killings will not be there anymore. He is going to put the court independent. He is going to make sure that the police service is independent. And he said all these things are going to happen in 3 months' time. And people waited for the 3 months' time to come to an end so that President Ruto can be able to do whatever he said for Kenyans. We waited and waited and waited and waited. And even today, we are still waiting for the 3 months' time that President Ruto said he is going to make sure that everything is in control. Today, it is 3 years now in the government, 2 years probably in the government. And the same things are still happening. Kenyans got tired with President Ruto because Kenyans complained, Kenyans complained, Kenyans complained until Kenyans got tired. Because everything that Ruto said when he was in the campaign, all the manifestos he said, and everything he said he's going to do, he went on and did exactly opposite of what he said he is going to do. The Mamamboga, they began crying about President William Ruto. The Boda Boda, they began crying about President William Ruto. Remember, these are the people that President William Ruto said he is going to support, and he is going to hold their hands and make sure that these people are people who are going to succeed, and they are people who are going, he is going to focus on them so much in his government. But he went on and did exactly opposite of the things he said. Now, youths of Kenya decided to go to the roads to demonstrate because this now was too much. They gave him time. They wanted him to change. They wanted him to do what was right, but he never did what was right. He began assuming people. He became so proud of himself that nobody can tell him anything. You speak, and he continues doing exactly opposite of what he said. He never heard the voice of people. He never heard the cries of mothers and children. People suffered. They couldn't afford meals in a day. But anytime they complained, President Ruto used to give them a deaf ear, and he continued doing whatever he had to do because he felt like he owns the government and nobody has to tell him anything. Kenyans, especially the youths, they banged the roads. They started demonstrating. They started occupying places, occupying the city of Nairobi, occupying the parliament, occupying the courts, occupying everywhere. Like they occupied almost all the places. They occupied even churches. And they said, we are not going to accept this. When did these demonstrations started? It was this one day when President William Ruto woke up in the morning and presented a finance bill in the parliament. This finance bill was a finance bill that was really oppressing Kenyans. It was really uh, wrangling Kenyans. And Kenyans said, this finance bill is not going to pass because everything was high, taxes were high, and there is no jobs. People are not employed. There is a lot of unemployment, especially the youths were unemployed. And then tax are being imposed. That time, it was something that was very, very frustrating. And Kenyans said, we are not going to accept this. We shall go on the roads. We shall demonstrate because it's our democratic right to demonstrate. And we shall say no to this finance bill. That finance bill, at the end of the day, did not pass, but people had been killed. Anytime Gen Zs were going on the road, they were being killed by the police officers, they were being looted, they were being chased away, they were being beaten up, they were being tear gassed. Some of them died, some of them were injured, and this is something that was happening in the country of Kenya during the time that Kenyans were demonstrating because of the finance bill that was oppressing them and that was interfering with their way of life. They are poor, there is no jobs, you haven't produced jobs for them, you haven't created jobs for the youths, and you said in 3 months' time all those things will have happened, and then you're going ahead and uh, imposing to them finance bill that is killing them. You said you'll pay loans, the IMF loans, the World Bank, instead of paying, it has doubled. And then you're coming with a finance bill that is also oppressing Kenyans. No, Kenyans said, we cannot accept this. And they went on the road. They started fighting on the road. They started demonstrating on the road. But they were killed mercilessly. Police officers were ordered to shoot to kill. Anybody who tries to mess up, shoot to kill. Okay? And Kenyans were not afraid of death anymore because they were saying, even if we don't die, we are already suffering. So just kill us if you want to kill us. Kenyans marched to the parliament. When they were marching to the parliament, they were being shot dead. Bodies of people would lie down there. When you look around, you'd see bodies of young men, the youths of the country of Kenya, lying down on the floor, shot dead by the police officers who are supposed to be taking care of the youths in Kenya, who are supposed to be securing and defending Kenyans. They are killing people in their own country. And we were asking them, are you normal when you're doing things like this? How do you feel when you're doing things like this? And then people got shot time and again, and they decided to ease. They decided to actually take a break because a lot of them had been killed, and Kenyan youths took time to go and bury those who had been killed during these demonstrations. And therefore, Kenyans decided, because Kenyan youths are people who they don't know going backward. They know forward ever, backwards never. They decided a cold war on the social media. So this cold war was to remind President Ruto that he needs to change, he needs to make a change. Otherwise, he is going to continue getting frustrated time and again. And then there come abductions. President Ruto created a squad that started abducting people. Whenever they see you at drawing President Ruto, or rather putting those memes and cartoons that resembles President Ruto on the social media, you are abducted. And abduction got at large. There was a lot of abduction going on. Abductions happened. People were killed. Some of them were abducted. We had cases of people who were abducted and they were never found. Their bodies were found lying somewhere dead. Some bodies were found on the mortuary. So people are abducted, they are killed, they are thrown away. And it was very sad. It was very frustrating. This was the kind of a president who said he is going to work for Kenyans. He is now the president who is killing Kenyans mercilessly. And he is expecting to be called a president who is a democratic president, or rather a good president. He is expecting someone like Ibrahim Traore to come back to him and talk to him. So Kenyans complained that these abductions have to stop and this issue of abducting people has to stop. But the government gave it a deaf ear, and people continued getting abducted until recently, when some three or I think six boys were abducted by President William Ruto, and their parents were really complaining. Their parents were really crying about their children, saying, if our children have made a mistake, just take them to court instead of locking them somewhere. You are making them go through shit, go through a lot, and you're just there quiet. So the Gen Zs decided to talk to the mothers, talk to the government, but the government could not listen to them. And so they were crying aloud everywhere, but the government gave them a deaf ear. Until now, the youths of Kenya and the people of Kenya decided we are going to take now, we are going to take action on our own. Anytime we see somebody being abducted, anytime we see anybody being abducted, we deal with him right there. We ask him who has sent him, why is he abducting people, where is he coming from, and why is he doing whatever that he's doing. That is what Kenyans decided. And it has been happening so well. It has been going on so well. Recently, there are many people who have been beaten up by the mob by trying to abduct people. And Kenyans could not accept anybody to be abducted. And even today, right now, as we are talking, we cannot abduct anybody in Kenya because Kenyans will come and fight you themselves. Because when the government was being asked to stop the abductions, the government admitted for the first time that it was not it that was abducting people, until again they came and accepted they did abducted people, and they are going to release those people. So Kenyans have decided anybody who wants to abduct anyone, they deal with them perpendicularly. They don't spare them. They have to show them their identification card, tell them why are they abducting someone. If they do not have a good reason for them to abduct someone, they will be beaten up, they will be chased away. And that is how Kenyans have dropped the issues of abductions. That is how Kenya have stopped the issues of abductions, because the rate and the level of abduction right now in Kenya has reduced at a very, very big range. And I think now Kenyans took an Ibrahim Traore's heart. That is Ibrahim Traore's boldness. That is Ibrahim Traore's heart to be able to say no, to be able not to be afraid and decide to do what is right. And so I want to take this opportunity to thank all Kenyans who are doing you're doing your best to make sure you're saving people who are being abducted, because we don't want to live in a country where people are abducted anyhow, where people go missing and nobody talks about it. That Ibrahim Traore's spirit of helping people, of fighting for people, of uniting yourselves together to fight people who are abducting other people, that spirit should continue. And I hope you're not going to drop that spirit anytime soon. That spirit should continue. And that is why I said Kenyans have borrowed Ibrahim Traore's heart. They have taken Ibrahim Traore's heart and boldness of speaking courageously and saying no to whatever it is that you don't really want. So I want to take this opportunity to thank all Kenyans for what they're doing, because right now Kenyans are doing a very good job and a very wonderful job. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being there. I shot this video at 3 a.m. Uh, almost in the morning. I think it's been almost 4 there in the morning. And I felt it's good I can to come here and shoot this video so you can be able to understand also what is happening in Kenya. For the Kenyans who are abroad, you're welcome so much. All the diasporans, I love you. My brothers and sisters from Caribbean and Africa in particular, I love you so much. Keep tuning in, keep staying in African Streamline. I tell you every day, he who find himself in African Streamline, just know you are at home. Kenya is home. Africa is home. Africa ni nyumbani. Anybody, anything that concerns Africa concerns me and you as Africans. And we should be able to fight for Africans and continue the same spirit until we come to the end of this. Keep on tuning in. Tell me what you have to say in the comment section. I'll do my best to make sure I'm reading all of them and I reply them where possible. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being here, African Streamline. I love family. I love you so much. All right. Adios, guys.